This idyllic grove, with 4 tall columns, contains elements that might seem contradictory. Youthful expectation and ambition, framed by academic tradition and a whiff of mortality. In short, the stuff that educators' dreams are made on. This quartet is among Seattle's oldest extant architectural artifacts. Originally old-growth cedar trees toppled near Hood Canal and floated to Henry Yesler's waterfront sawmill, the 24-foot-tall columns adorned the portico of the 1861 Territorial University building downtown. Carved by early postmaster O.J. Carr and cabinet makers A.P. DeLynn and O.C. Shorey, the sturdy fluted columns, topped with scroll-shaped volutes in accordance with Ionic style, offered potent symbols of classical education. Shorey and DeLynn later applied their carpentry skills to casket making in pioneer Seattle, founding the funeral home that became Bonnie Watson. Some called it hubris when a town with fewer than 200 mostly male inhabitants built a 2-story white academy on an overlooking bluff. But it also indicated exuberant faith in the region's future. For Arthur Denny, donor of much of the academic institution's land, and Daniel Bagley, an influential Methodist preacher, a university was the tail that was to wag the dog of civic life. As Seattle boomed and 1889 statehood loomed, the homegrown University of Washington abandoned the then crowded business district for largely undeveloped holdings then north of the city in 1895. The original building, though a sentimental favorite, was left to molder before being torn down in 1910. Its 4 columns were salvaged and added to the expanding campus in 1911. Edmund S. Meany, head of the history department, supplied each column with a name: loyalty, industry, faith, and efficiency, adding up to life. After a decade of being stranded outside Savory Hall on the Quad, the university held a contest to determine their final placement. The winner, 19-year-old Marshall Gill, architecture student and son of the late mayor Hiram Gill, who had died a year earlier during the influenza pandemic. His design for an outdoor Sylvan Theater setting southeast of Drumheller Fountain was acclaimed as an appropriate and fitting tribute to the impressive solemnity of the columns. Young Gill, however, witnessed only the first fruits of his labor. Within weeks of the grove's creation, he died of a brain embolism following a tonsillectomy at age 20. 2 years later, School of Architecture alumni installed a stone bench and commemorative plaque at one end of the grassy stage. In this tranquil spot, treasured by generations of UW students, Marshall Gill created a lasting monument, his only surviving design, to youth, artistry, and history. In our first then photo, dancers perform with veils in the newly opened Sylvan Theater in 1922. Since that time, it has seen music and theatrical performances, as well as hosting graduation ceremonies and other university events. In our second then photo, the Territorial University building at 4th and University stood on the downtown site of today's Fairmont Olympic Hotel. Designed in 1860 by John Pike, after whom Pike Street was named, the 2-story structure was razed in 1910. In our third then photo, Marshall Gill died following surgery on June 21, 1921, 1 year after submitting the prize-winning design for a setting to feature the UW columns. In our first now photo, aspiring MFA candidates from the School of Drama improvise on the greensward in front of the 164-year-old columns. From left, standing, Sebastian Wang, Taylor McWilliams Woods, Jarek Fernandez, Minky Bai, Yunshin Kim, Morena Kleinpeter, and Betsabeth Gonzalez. On the ground, Adriana Gonzalez. In an impromptu ad lib, each actor chose characters from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. Can you guess who's who? In our second now photo, the Stone Park bench, memorializing Marshall Gill, sits next to the columns.